Tôi chưa bao giờ biết phải nghĩ gì về Bitcoin khi lần đầu tiên nó xuất hiện trên radar của tôi. Bước phát rất rõ ràng về suy nghĩ của mình. Nếu bạn nói với tôi rằng bạn sở hữu tất cả Bitcoin trên thế giới và bạn bán nó cho tôi với giá $25, tôi không lấy nó bởi vì tôi sẽ làm gì với nó đây? Và với người cộng sự lâu năm của ông ấy là Charlie Munger, tôi sẽ tránh xa cái quần Bitcoin. Vậy tôi có cách nhìn nhận hơi khác một chút trong cuộc sống của mình. Những thứ ngu ngốc và xấu xa khiến tôi trông tệ khi so sánh với người khác. Bitcoin làm cả ba điều. Họ bắt đầu nói về Bitcoin vào đầu năm 2018. Kể từ đó, Bitcoin đã tăng 400%, trong khi Berkshire Hathaway, công ty đầu tư của họ, đã tăng 75%. Vậy làm sao Bitcoin có thể tệ đến vậy? Nếu nó đang làm vậy, thì tại sao hai người này được coi là hiện thân của trí tuệ tài chính lại coi thường Bitcoin? Họ có dám nói rằng sai? Tôi đã dành cả tháng qua để trả lời câu hỏi này. Tôi không mong đợi tìm thấy những gì. Tôi tìm thấy Bitcoin là tài sản đỉnh cao của loài người. Không có tài sản nào được phát minh trong lịch sử nhân loại tốt hơn. Bitcoin không có giá trị nội tại nào. Đối với nó, tài sản, nếu bạn có thể tài sản vượt trội nữa, thì nó sẽ tăng mãi. Và bây giờ nó đang trong quá trình đi về số 0. Ngoại trừ Bitcoin có thể đi về mức âm, nhưng tôi nghĩ năm 2025 sẽ là năm ngoạn mục. Khi Bitcoin tăng lên trên $300.000, có thể nói gần như chắc chắn là chúng sẽ đi đến một kết cục tồi tệ. Và sau đó nó sẽ tăng hơn $1.000 tỷ, một chút ngày nay lên $25.000 tỷ vào năm 2030. Đó là một lý thuyết hoàn toàn ngu ngốc. Tôi sẽ bán khống nếu có một cách dễ dàng để thực hiện. Do như sự ra đời của Internet, Bitcoin là vàng nhân tạo vô giá trị. Tôi nghĩ đó là một Bitcoin được gọi là vàng kỹ thuật số, được gọi là tương lai của tiền tệ và là hàng rào chống lại lạm phát. Thì tôi đã nói gì với bạn rằng Bitcoin thực sự có thể là một vụ lừa đảo tài chính lớn nhất thời đại chúng ta. Ngày nay chúng ta đã vẽ bức màn về hệ sinh thái tiền điện tử, manipulation and speculative hype driving Bitcoin, and why you should think twice before investing. Bitcoin's story starts with three key selling points that makes everybody's panties get all excited. A limited supply of 21 million coins, decentralization of a currency, and freedom from government control. This was the premise behind Bitcoin and why it would be a great changer for how we interact with each other financially. But when you strip away all the buzzwords, here's the reality. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, no earnings, no dividends. If you think it has intrinsic value, you are going to lose a lot of money in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not in Bitcoin, but in some other thing. Its entire worth depends on people believing it's worth something more tomorrow than today. You're hoping that you wake up tomorrow and somebody else says, I will pay you more for that. So you might sit there and say, well, you've said that before. Everybody keeps saying that it keeps going up in value. That's what happens during hype.
In the early 1920s, a businessman in Boston had a realization. Everybody wants to get rich without doing any work. So this businessman came up with a brilliant idea to make a lot of money. And like all good financiers, he promised to make those around him really rich too. The businessman told his investors he was buying discounted coupons in foreign countries and making money reselling them in the US. There was a middleman opportunity that he claimed was totally safe and guaranteed a return. The businessman promised his investors a 50% profit in 45 days or 100% in 90 days. What this businessman was doing was paying the people who got in early with the money for the people who got in later. Those later investors, excited by hearing about a guaranteed high return investment, were left holding the bag. That businessman was named Charles Ponzi. His name has become synonymous with these sorts of schemes. This Ponzi scheme made millions of dollars in just a few months. But such a con can only go on for so long. Eventually you run out of other people's money. And for Ponzi, when that happens, you go to jail. 100 years later, a new bunch of wealthy investors say they too have a brilliant way to make you a lot of money. They promise to make you really, really rich. The best part is, they say, the returns are guaranteed. Anyone can buy with any amount of money. It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a digital token with no physical or government backing that's run by a global, decentralized network of computers. These computers keep track of every Bitcoin transaction and can move Bitcoins easily from one user to another. There are a limited number of Bitcoins in the world, 21 million, 19 million of which have already been mined. These mining rigs are large systems of computers which perform complex calculations, expending huge amounts of energy to create new bitcoins, expending huge amounts of energy to create new bitcoins. Massive Bitcoin mining farms are set up in places like Siberia and northeastern China, where people take advantage of cheap electricity in massive wasteful facilities. But how Bitcoin works doesn't really matter that much. All of the stuff you hear about peer-to-peer technology and the blockchain really only explains how Bitcoin works as a currency. But despite the name, Bitcoin isn't really used much as a currency at all. When people buy Bitcoin, they rarely use it to buy goods and services. They're really buying access to a Ponzi scheme. Only 1.3% of Bitcoin's economic activity is in merchant transactions. The rest is speculation, people buying it just because they think it will go up. And the more it's used in speculation, the less incentive people have to actually use it as a currency. Why buy something with Bitcoin when you can hold it and make some easy money? That's why the peak of Bitcoin being used to buy things was actually back in 2017, before its price really took off. And a currency should be stable in value, not bounce all over the place the way Bitcoin does. Rises are nice, but Bitcoin also falls a lot. If you want to speculate, that's fine, that's your own business. But you don't want the value of your checking account to gyrate wildly and unpredictably just because Elon Musk has tweeted about it. If you have friends or relatives who are into cryptocurrency, you know that the reason that people are into Bitcoin is because they think it can make them a lot of money. Because Bitcoin is just a digital token without any inherent value, they're not really making an investment. They're engaging in a financial betting game.
What you're looking at, depending on who you ask, is either a revolution for the internet and countless industries as we know it,
like in all seriousness, I compare it to the internet,
or the greatest Ponzi scheme in human history.
The whole thing is a promise that you can get rich for free.
Accused of being all of these things is the world of cryptocurrencies, or the other labels associated with it. NFTs, blockchains, Web 3.0. From the bizarre onslaught of celebrity promotions and endorsements,
I got an 8 too.
Part of the same community, both A's.
to the eye-watering numbers and headlines,
Digital artist Beeple, the final bid, $69 million.
Oh my God.
to the grandiose claims about its potential.
It's the biggest technology that's ever happened in the history of life.
I once described the world of cryptocurrencies as a story, and I did that in hopeful, optimistic tones. And now I don't think it's the story that I initially thought it was.
They only make money because some other sucker lost more.
Have fun staying poor. It amazes me that anybody is buying into this.
They are decentralized Ponzi schemes.
The only thing that you have to show is Ponzi schemes. It's all bullshit.
Đều là một cú lừa.